Akademiks, can't ride no wave.
What's not yet projected, because I hear it's going to be in the 25,000 range. This is what I've been told currently, but that could change up or down drastically as we go on, because today's Wednesday. Tomorrow is the reporting period is going to end, which is Thursday. Polo G, Hood Poet, he dropped an album, and that album is going to do about it's going to do about 25,000. Now, if you look at Polo G's discography, and by the way, when he talked to me, he kind of almost preemptively put a couple things in the air that was just like, not really caring that much about numbers. And usually that's what rappers do when they're basically telling you this shit might not look good, right? And I actually don't mind that. I respect that, because I know too many artists who get scared of dropping because their numbers won't look good. So we know what they do. They pull back on the album. They try to release some singles, try to do an EP, and they're not putting out their best songs to those projects, but they're hoping they catch steam somehow to drop the album. Like, bro, just drop the album, keep powering through it. Like, you have to have like real faith in yourself that you could be mad hot, flop, and come back again and be mad hot. Okay, now if we look at his last album, Hall of Fame, which came out in 2021, which, by the way, interestingly enough, we're realizing it took him 3 years, and he spoke about it on an interview he did with me, that, he shouldn't have taken 3 years to drop. He kind of also admits he's maybe not the drop every year type of guy, but, he probably felt like he should have dropped last year, and he did push the album back from last year. And let's see, what was the first week? Commercial performance, he did 143,000 equivalent units. Wow. Now, granted, that had a bunch of songs that worked. It had Rap Star. It had No Return, Epidemic. Didn't have I thought 3 Go was on this, or maybe that was from before. But Painting Pictures was the intro. Like, yeah, a lot of people enjoyed this project. This project actually worked well, not only on radio, it worked well in lasting a long time on the charts. But he did 131 first week. Now, or 143 first week with that album. So that's 3 years ago. He kind of should have dropped something, didn't really drop. And remember, I told you this is an interesting time. This is a changing of the guards. I told you about this, chat. Lil TJ, A Boogie, Roddy Ricch. I'm putting Polo G now in this mix as well. All of these artists, if we go back 2-3 years ago, like, these are guys that you would say, hey, nothing below 70, 75,000 records. But really quickly, time has either changed, and it's a couple of combinations. Some of these artists have gotten an ego, so they think they're bigger than the program, or they had some hits back then. They thought people were always going to check for them. That happened not to be the case. Some of them thought they were entitled to, certain type of treatment by either the industry, media platforms, DSPs. That's turned out not to be the case. So if you look at it, you get A Boogie, who I would think is pretty much up there with leading that pack, him and Polo G. Both of them, I think, sold or are going to sell under 50,000 records first week after they just sold over 100 and something. So it's what we're witnessing is a changing of the guards. Now, I'm going to extrapolate and bring in another artist as well, and I'll just use the artist I see on my list. I think what Lil Durk does next is going to be important. So, for example, Lil Durk has been preaching a lot of positivity. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, as much positivity, and I know he dropped The Voice, and that album it did well for him. Remember, he did over 100,000, and I said big dog status. We do have to realize that Durk mixed the message of still talking crazy and greasy with a little bit of inspirational, also had some songs for the girls. Really good mix. If Durk is full Muslim now and he's all about peace and not about still spinning on ops, like, I think his audience still like when he spins on ops. You could have those commercial songs, right? Like, all my life. You could have that, but what really drives that rabid fan base as you get towards that shit is that they want you to talk crazy. Now, granted, I think he's outgrown wanting to talk crazy to niggas in Chicago. Like, he don't want to be like, I don't think he want to do a shoulda ducked song again. I don't think he want to clown, FBG Cash by going for going by the mural and then he gets killed. He did that with computers, something. I don't think he want to do those records again, but people still want to hear that Durk sound like one of them guys in the trenches. So we're gonna see what his next sales look like. Does he go from 100? Does he keep it consistent? I think these days it's so hard. We're not in the album era no more. At least for those guys. Actually, for anybody. But if you're a Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick caliber, of course you still could drop albums and people who want an entire body of project from you. But some of these guys, I don't know if necessarily people care that much about their projects if they don't have a hit. And I think that might be Polo's issue coming into this project. You have to have the big hit. You need the rap star. You need that. That's going to bolster what you got going on, because that's going to keep bringing interest to make the album sell. So we're going to see if Dirk stays at 100 or does he dip. Let's see. We'll put G Herbo in this conversation. Rod Wave. I think Rod Wave is different, but does Rod Wave, he's consistently sold over 100. To me, Rod Wave is a frequent 100 seller. His music is a little bit different because I think his music is so just about emotions and stuff like that. People usually have way more latitude for music like that. So I don't think maybe necessarily he needs, I don't think he's going to go from 100 to like 40. I don't see that happening. By the way, also here's the thing too. Rod Wave is a tourer. That dude went on a elaborate tour that was doing arenas. And if those people are still interested in his music, he'll sell at least 70,000 records. Roddy Rich, we're going to have to see what Roddy does. This is show approved time. Roddy has to come with a joint. Like, hey, put him on the clock or whatever you want to call it. Roddy needs to come with a ballin'. Roddy needs to come with a box. He needs to come with a Die Young. He needs that record in the next 9 months. You get that, you do some features, you do a rollout and come with a banger. You feel what I'm saying? This is if he wants to touch that 100 range anymore. Fabio, I don't think Fabio's not in that 100 range or hasn't been. We'll talk about Baby in a little bit. Lil TJ, I think Lil TJ is in the same boat as Roddy, and I'm going to also put A Boogie in the same boat as well. These guys need to come, they need to find the single. Find the single that everybody wants to play. For Lil TJ, he might need a steady call my phone. Like, he needs one of those again. I'm sorry, okay? Moneybagg Yo, he's never been a guy who sold 100,000 for me, so I won't even mention that. Okay, cool. Anyway, I say all that to say, and I don't want to shit on somebody, especially Polo. He's never been like mad braggadocious with sales, so I won't be like, nah, nigga, you flopped. Even though, hey, them numbers ain't look good. I'm going to be honest with you. Or what's projected right now do not look good, sir. Anyway, leave it up to the fans. And the fans of Polo G has came up with, and I've never seen this before, so I got to give them credit. The fans on the Reddit for Polo G has came up with a fan agenda guideline. It's a Hood Poet update, but it's a guideline on how fans should deal with what is going on and how they should deal with conversation related to Polo G. Check this out. It says the new Polo G agenda. It says, with Polo G doing awful numbers, we need to find new ways of moving when we mention Polo online. Here are the guidelines and suggestions. From now on, Polo is the most underrated rapper. He makes great music, great quality for his niche. Kind of like Key Glock, which, by the way, I think artistically he's supposed to be bigger, way bigger than Key Glock. But damn, okay, cool. Shout out to Key Glock too. He's a good artist. It says, number 2, do not enter any type of discussion that got to do with sales. If you do, just say the sales prove he's underrated. Okay, I like the angle. Number 3, compare him to his peers in 2020, such as Lil Baby, Lil TJ, and the Baby, and highlight how he has better production, lyricism, and discography than them. Number 4, do not compare him to bigger artists like Cardi and Uzi and Travis and Drake, basically the big dogs. If anybody does, let them know Polo G isn't on that level yet, and you're basically setting them up. Number 5, Hood Poet. It's a good album, right under the GOAT and DAL. Even when you don't believe it, say it. Hood Poet will have a whole lot of red effect, and if we praise it. The goalpost for good Polo G music has moved from he was good in 2019 to his 2019 to 2021 run was insane. It will happen with Hood Poet as well. Number 6, highlight his improvements in production over time. Hood Poet has classic No, it has quality production and is one of the best produced trap albums this year. I'm gonna be honest with you, this was impressive by the fans. Okay, this is an amazing way how to cope. This is an amazing way how to try to shift the narratives. Number one, I will say though, for you Polo fans, let me tell you what you're doing wrong. Every fan base does this. They don't do it in front of the world that you help give fodder to clown your artist. Bad. Nicki fans do this. You'll never see it. Okay? They got little group chats where everybody's damn near sworn to secrecy and probably donated some blood and gave a blood sacrifice to be up in there. Okay? So they do that. They do shit like this. They have talking points. They have orchestrated ways of trying to boost sales, or they do streaming parties and buy records and share credit card numbers. Yeah, they do all that shit. What they don't do is do it in front of the whole fucking world. Okay? That's what you have to realize. Y'all have now created more reason for people to try to make fun and mock Polo G. Okay? Do I think Polo G's an underrated rapper? I do. I always thought that, and this is going to sound crazy, hopefully it doesn't, I thought Polo G's sales were always bigger than the cultural conversation that I thought he got. I don't think people put him in the conversations of the guys that were doing damn near 150 when he did do 150, which that was odd. You know, because it's like they didn't really acknowledge that, yo, this is how big of an artist he is. Which when it comes to this, you're like, hey, maybe he just had a song that was ridiculously huge at the time, which Rap Star was, I believe, a #1 song, right? He says, don't enter any type of discussion that has to do with sales. I want to see how this works out for fans. Because fans are the main ones, including me, who likes using sales. You see the thing with sales is some type of objective metric than just saying, my artist makes better music than yours, right? Sales is like, what sales mean, it's conversion, or not conversion, but consumption. And we do need some objectivity when we're talking about all of these things, right? So to not be able to use sales, I wonder how you guys are going to just say, oh, he's a good rapper, right? We will see. By the way, Bozo sent a donation in. What do you say? He said his fans is moving like the OVOs. Stop playing, bro. And making excuses for Drake past 8 songs flopping. Hey, y'all want me to get to the Drake section next? We could. But this is going to be a long section. We ain't get there yet, okay? SP, by the way, said, hey, can we add stream in the sales conversation? I mean, streams are involved in this conversation. They are. Yeah. So when you look at sales on any chart, they're going to have something called SEA. That's stream equivalent album units, right? So they take the amount of stream, they do these calculations where depending on what platform or depending on if it's paid or not paid or a free, or it's called a freemium tier, they'd use a math formula to create what those streams would mean in terms of not only revenue, but also in terms of album sales. So yes, when you see album sales now, more than likely, it's not actual sales, it's streams. You get what I'm saying? It's just that, like, maybe it would make y'all feel better if we be like, yo, Polo G did 70 million streams first week. Or we could just convert it to his album sales. You get what I'm saying? Anyway. Hood Poet's a good album. I'm going to be honest with you. All things considered, I listened to the project and I liked it. What I do think Polo G, and this is where I'm coming in with my opinion, I think Polo G has to work through this period. He has a lot of personal drama going on that's distracting. The good thing about his music back in the days that we didn't know nothing about him but the music. Now his family and his life story is kind of being incorporated. Now, here's what I interviewed him, and I wonder if he's going to do this. You see, when the public gets a hold of your personal life as a musician, they despise you afterwards for not acknowledging it in your music. So if you've been rapping about things that they can't easily identify, and now they find out about your life, they want you to express your life. You're a musician. You're an artist. What am I saying? I'm saying that Polo G has to start rapping about some of these things that maybe you wouldn't talk about in an interview. Like, for example, I asked him about his brother on the interview. He said, so next question, I don't want to talk about that. I asked him about his family, and he's like, yo, whatever. By the way, yo, he said some crazy shit. Not crazy shit, but like I asked him, I said, yo, like I asked him about him having a gun in the hotel. And I was like, maybe do you ever think maybe you should move a little smarter? And he said, nah. Like, nah. Yeah, that was crazy to me. Yo, I say, yo, you think there's like anything you could do different? Like how you move? Have you changed up how you move? Like ever since then, bro, you got caught with a gun. You know, we're not talking about the case, but you got arrested for this charge. Like, have you changed up how you move? Right? Nah. That shit was crazy. Y'all ain't see that? Oh, y'all ain't watch the interview, man. Y'all fake as a motherfucker, man. Look at y'all. How y'all chat niggas ain't watch all the chat nigga shit? Here we go. Look, I'm gonna show you.
Yeah.
You know, most of these streams are like, it's like improv. I said that to somebody. It's like, oh, we talking about Kai?
You big on TikTok?
Or like your label A&R, like rappers, at least at this point. Like I feel like rap is at like a very conversation, and that like you're not like left behind when clearly the culture is still always. You know, you gotta do a dance for you in a Dirk song. You got the moves, and you just think that's the toughest thing to do because, well, like you're my
crazy shit to me. Like, why she pick me though? Like, out of everybody to
shit,
pick,
you hot. That's
like what you own though? Like, cause
hold on,
shit, I don't know. I mean, I feel where you come from though, for sure. As far as like saying that you wouldn't want to. I don't really want to argue or get into it with no.
And you know, as you're telling me, you're saying, nah, that's not what I'm on. The life or death situation. You know, a lot of people don't know you.
I ain't gonna lie, my family different. They got.
Oh yeah, I was asking about the family.
Sister was my tour manager. My mama was my actual manager. I probably had my little brother playing hype man for me at certain shows. Like, that's just the type of person I am. I want to see all my peoples winning and doing good and being with me if I'm doing something good. So like, you know, it'll inspire them.
Yes. He got to rap about some of the shit he's going through. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But I did want to show you this moment where I explained the gun charge he caught. I'm like, do you think you should move different? He's like, nah. Hey, you my son. Fuck what you talking about. You know what I mean? Is that easy to do all the time though?
No, we all on the same accord though. Like, but
so-and-so rapper was kind of like all we talked about. Now, not as much. How do you make sure you stay in that, not saying chasing. Oh, I forgot I got timestamps. Holy, hold on. I do got timestamps somewhere. Where my timestamps at? Unless y'all got timestamps. It's a part I asked about the gun shit. I said, bro, you got caught with a gun and hold on. I'm looking for it. What the hell? Oh no, I picked the wrong thing. Sorry. Where the fuck? Oh, here we go. All right, here we go. I think it's 56. Does any of y'all got that? 56, maybe. That they done took Polo G out of the hood, but they ain't take the hood out of Polo G. Basically saying that some of your habits and behaviors of not only you, but people around you don't reflect like somebody who's up tens of millions of dollars. Why somebody say 24 minutes? Maybe it is 24. Security, he got to have. Oh, yeah. People, like, he has to have a team around him that, you know, of course, you probably are in well, not necessarily like inferior life, but like in New York City. Mm-hmm. Obviously. Okay. There we go.
Have you changed how you moved, like, or move around? Like, one of the things was that you got caught with a weapon in New York City. Obviously, in case you don't got to speak on that, but what I thought, I was like, man, this guy's one of the biggest artists out. He got to be moving with security. He got to have people in it. Like, he has to have a team around him that, of course, you probably are in not necessarily like inferior life, but like, you got to make sure you're safe. But has that changed how you move even with your team?
I don't really know what to like. How to
No, I mean, like, just situations like that. You know what I mean? Like, have you changed how you and your team either move in terms of security or anything else?
I don't know why I was looking for an answer like, yo, yeah, I ain't gonna comment too much about that, but like, nah, we making sure we moving good, this and third, you know what I mean? Niggas like, that was federal? That was federal? All right,
I don't know why I expected to hear a different answer.
all right, maybe that was federal. Nah, he answered questions. He's a little bit socially awkward. And I get it. And I think socially awkward just in interviews. He doesn't do interviews like that. And he has a lot of pending cases or a lot of pending situations that he would never want to be saying some shit. Like, these are real life things for him. So I kind of understand it. This is one of those interviews I feel like I was trying to do a lot to try to, elicit, some substance out of. But anyway, listen. Polo G fans, listen to me clearly, okay? Polo G dropped this album. If you listen to the interview he did with me, he basically said that he's not going to be taking such long break again. He's back on still producing music. He wants to keep his foot on the ball. He wants to keep doing shit that, even if, maybe some of y'all are disappointed by his sales, he's going to bring that hype, that type of movement back again, because he's going to drop music more frequently. And he believes that is the thing that's the cure to all of this, right? He says he's never been a numbers guy like that. He's more focused on just satisfying his fans and putting out music. And if y'all are his fans, hey, maybe I can't jump in the sales conversations right now, but you could just hope he gives you more music. And also, this is a good time to judge his hunger, because nothing inspires an artist more. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, and we're gonna get to Le Bebe. Ever since I've been clowning Le Bebe, man, that nigga been hungry. That nigga been hungrier than motherfucking DJ Khaled when he opened his fridge. Y'all seen that? I seen that video when it was all cakes. Listen, he been hungry, and when someone's hungry, like, eventually their efforts will they'll start seeing some good results. And this is a good time to see how hungry this dude is, because he's probably rich as fuck. He probably don't need to do nothing. But you get to see how much does he want it? How much does he really want to, be on top of the charts again, right? Because he knows his fans going to have to sit there and defend him. He knows his fans going to have to sit there and defend him. And, I was about to say some Drake shit, but I shouldn't say it. I'll leave it for the Drake part. Actually, no, I might just spin into Drake after this. But yeah, it's all about being hungry. You know what I mean? It's funny how y'all talk about act glazing. It's funny. So I had a conversation with Drake not too long ago, and most of the conversation I just privilege I can't share with you. But Drake said something to me, and trying to relate it to a fan or somebody who likes an artist. But I remember during the Pusha T thing, me and him, when we chopped it up, and he was kind of explaining like why he didn't respond. He was very, very aware that, and I think I even told him, I'm like, yo, bro, like, we fans of, and I think it's the same with basketball as it is to rap. Like, if you're a LeBron fan versus you're a KD fan or a Kawhi fan, like, you're not those guys, but their accomplishments gives you and arms you with tools to argue with other people for them, right? Like I remember being either in high school or college, and you're just arguing. You like a player, and you're arguing with their stats, and you're arguing with these things, and I think that was the reason why Drake even gave me the explanation back then for the Pusha T thing. But when it came time to, he told me this was recent. He said, I think we're talking about journalism in a whole. And the conversation I was having with him was just like, yo, I'm going to be honest with you. It's crazy. Like, I'm the number one guy in media, and I feel like I'm almost slightly powerless for the very first time ever. Because I like you as a musician. I like your music, right? But anything I say positive about you, they flip. And it turns out they're like, yo, they make it negative, right? And I'm like, that's not even my intent. But they've figured out a way, and obviously there's a certain group of people who have done this, to flip me against Drake, right? Like, if I say something, they just take it and they'll be like, it's this. Look, his biggest fan, Act, said this. And I remember saying to him, I said, well, here's the thing. And by the way, again, I talk to him about a bunch of shit all the time. Not most of the things I won't say. But this, I think, is, who cares? I think I've kind of said this publicly too. I was just like, it puts me in an interesting spot, right? Because, like, for example, say like DJ Head, right? Like, he's unapologetically going to get his come up by just being Team Kendrick, right? He doesn't need to have any ounce of unbiasedness. He doesn't ever need to really potentially talk about what Drake got going on, unless he's, let me not say hating, but like just being, kind of doing it from a Kendrick fan or a Kendrick like associate perspective. But no matter what people have said about me, I got my come up by covering everybody, right? Yes, Drake's been my favorite rapper. Yes, I talked to him. But it's not like Drake just said, here's a career. And I'm like, all right, I'm down with the OVO team for life. Like, that's not the case. Like, I had to work to get here. I had to work my ass off to get here, that he even had to acknowledge me, right? So even now, like, yeah, like, I like the guy's music. And of course, I think a lot of times, like for whatever reason, and I think Kendrick did this brilliantly with how he did in the battle, there's a lot of shit that just makes Drake just look kind of crazy, right? And I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of times, sometimes I'm like, because I'm in media, I'm like trying to correct it. I'm like, yo, well, here's the truth about this. No, Drake doesn't have a child, right? Like, these things aren't true. These things are fucking fake. However, people then look at me a certain way. And I guess I say that to say, I was just like, media, it's interesting coming from the guy sits at the top of rap media, when I say, and I even said it to him, this is on autopilot right now of how people are going to disseminate. They're going to make up stories, false narratives, and it's going to be a lot of hate on you and shit. Normally, like, I've said this to mad rappers. This is why, listen, Lil Baby says something about me, which, by the way, I do think I go in a different mode when people is negative against me. I think me and Lil Baby about to be friends soon. Don't ask me how. But this is time I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, I feel kind of powerless, right? Anyway, Drake says this, and I think this was probably the utmost compliment. He says, hey, listen, I watch you all the time. I've heard you say things very positive, but also you've given really harsh criticisms that I may have had a rebuttal to. With the, and he compared it in a way that I always want that relationship to be. I never want him to give me a call, or never want him to hit me like how he would probably hit LeBron. Like, he's going to hit LeBron like, bro, you're tatted on my chest, my nigga. The fuck are you doing? But if I say something positive about Kendrick, or if I'm vibing out to Euphoria, I like Euphoria, right? Drake has zero right to be like, yo, what's up with you? Are you switching? No, he can't do that, right? But he did say something, and I think this is the basis of like that artist-media relationship. He said, knowing that you're a huge fan of mine, and you're also the very best person when it comes to media, you are doing the best job possible of being fair. And that was being fair, in obviously in terms of like, calling shit. Like clearly sometimes y'all gonna think I'm Drake glazing. But he's like, based on what I provided, anything you say, like for example, like even when I was ranking the beef or whatever, he's like, dude, I can't say nothing about your opinion because based on what I gave, you came up with that opinion. It's okay. I get it. And I was like, all right, that's kind of like very valid. I respect it. That's like him. To me, that's him understanding that I'm not PR for him necessarily, but I do have I am privy to certain information that nobody else in the media is, right? It's kind of like when Stephen A. Smith was covering Allen Iverson, and him and AI they're cool. And he knows a lot about AI, but if AI has a bad game or if AI did the whole practice rant, bro, he's gonna say like, bro, AI, you got to get this shit together, bro. Like, what's going on with you, right? So anyway, I don't know if that made sense to you guys, because like these days I feel like I'm just running into a mountain of people wanting me to kick Drake's back in, right? So it puts me in a weird place. When I do legitimately have criticisms of him, I'm like, damn, if I say it, will that be seen in a vacuum? Like, oh no, Ak is like, yeah, Ak like these 10 things. He didn't like these 4 things, or he didn't like these 5 things. Or is that the only thing that will get highlighted, right? Let's highlight Ak saying because, and there is a campaign going on with this. By the way, $300,000. That's what I heard the number was. $300,000 spent. Digital campaign. Y'all know which side this is from. They watch my stream. Anything positive about Drake, delete. Anything I say criticizing him, they clip and they pay certain blogs or certain people to post. Which is like, now I'm like, wait, so now I can't criticize Drake? That used to be my favorite thing because I'm a fan and I expect greatness and I expect the best. So I like criticizing Drake. But then now it's like, well, if you criticize Drake, it's like you're helping these guys. I'm like, yo, this is like politics now. It's like you got to choose which team you're on. And for me, shit, I make money with both of y'all niggas. Who cares? Anyway. Okay, no. All right, I said that to say, let's go get into the LeBron thing a bit. I guess we're going into the Drake topics. Let me see what right before we do that, we still do have Famous Dex losing his teeth, Erica Mena Safari, Rowdy Rebel LA, Young Miami, La Bebe, Chinks Drugs.